Welcome everybody to the Tea with Ms McGill Show. It is Puka. It is Reed Larson. Recording here, got a somber tone. We're here to talk about the Adam Johnson tragedy. So we already have a pre-canned. We had a pre-canned interview already ready to go for posting next week. But then of course this come up, so we felt we needed to address it and talk a little bit about it. And so when this episode ends, it won't even be an episode, but it'll go right into the pre-canned interview with our buddy Cristiano Versich. So, Adam Johnson guy, both of us knew, brother to Ryan, guy who I know even better, nephew of Grand Rapids' own Gary DeGraio, who's the UMD guy, played a little bit in the minor leagues, and son of Davey Johnson, of course, who led the Bulldogs in scoring in 80-81 and coached for, it might have been close to 20 years, that Bantam team in Hibbing. So hockey roots are deep. And of course, speaking of coaching, you're a guy that coached against Adam.
Yeah. That was that was a time when Hibbing was kind of going through some real high points. And again, Hibbing is right back on another high point, but Hibbing had I'd just taken the coaching position in Virginia in 2011 and 2012. I was a new head coach there after Keith Hendrickson for a bunch of years. And in 2011, before I got there, Virginia gets beat in the section finals by Hibbing and Adam Johnson. And he was the reason why they ended up beating Virginia 5-0 in the section finals. And then they find themselves down in the state tournament. Again, Adam taking over the state tournament in 2011 in order to beat Hermantown.
That game, that's what put him on the map.
Literally,
the whole state knew who he was.
Yeah, literally took the game over. But yeah, the next year I go in and take over at Virginia. And the first time we had a chance to play against Adam, I realized, holy cow, we better do something the next time we play, because he completely dominated the game. We got our butts kicked in the middle of January against Hibbing Chisholm. So we had to do some different things, and we get into February and we play in the last game of the season. And that probably is a highlight of my coaching career. We found a way to win that game, and the only way we could do it was by trying to completely shadow Adam, because he took the game over, took it over. We were fortunate enough to squeak one out in that game, and we got lucky. The point being is that Adam Johnson controlled almost every high school hockey game that he was a part of. And aside from that, he graduated in 2013 from Hibbing. There's a lot about Northern Minnesota in 2013, because Hockey Day in Minnesota was right here in Grand Rapids. And Hibbing Chisholm played Egan right on Pekegama Lake there in front of the golf course. And obviously was a huge part of that game too. So of course his coach at the time and Marcus Senzo was a Grand Rapids graduate too. So a lot of connections to the Iron Range, a lot of connections to Hibbing. And I said, it's a player that is an icon, and was before this incident, but now is his legacy. It's going to be living on here.
Yeah. First guy from the Chisholm Hibbing program to make the NHL in a lot. Well, you stole, who would have probably been the last one Rapids stole, was Kelly Fairchild. Kelly Lake guy, who the Johnsons have are Kelly Lakers.
Yeah.
But I guess before that it was Sandelin, someone like that in that era, Micheletti even. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe someone could throw it in the comments who the last person before Adam was playing NHL to come out of the program. But I had the pleasure of sharing the ice with him, and I mean, to this day, even this summer, there's nobody that could get to full speed faster than him. I mean, it was like 3 strides and full speed and a ton of speed, but just right, he could skate like the wind. And I heard his uncle Gary was real similar.
Yeah. It's funny because I watched an interview of Coach Sandelin, the next day after the incident. And he mentioned, how special of a person he was and how special of a player he was. And his skating was phenomenal. And he said, I don't know. He said, Davey will probably elbow me the next time he sees me, if he hears me say this, but he said, I don't think Adam got his skating from Davey Johnson. I think he got it from the DeGraio side, because Gary DeGraio was an assistant coach at Grand Rapids High School in the 90s when I was playing, and he was the D guy, worked with our defensemen, but he would jump on the goal line and race some of the fastest guys in his 30s, late 30s and early 40s, race guys from the goal line to the far blue line and beat most of the guys. He was that fast. So yeah, he probably did get his skating from the DeGrasse
I
side.
heard he could, Gary could skate like the wind, and Adam sure could.
Of course, a connection to Gary's son is one of the orthopedic doctors here at Grand Itasca. Takes care of all of our athletes when they've got issues here.
Okay.
So that's Ari DeGraio.
Awesome. All right. So let's move on to I guess, obviously a tragic accident. Have you ever seen anything or been, you played a lot of hockey, whether it was you or a teammate, or, I can't think of anything in my career that even came close, to anything where, even really a skate, even cutting any part of the body.
Mm-hmm.
I got stepped on once in 7th grade, but because once you start thinking about it, everybody on the ice got these sharp, and as you get older, you got weight on them.
Yeah.
I remember the great Chad Bauckham saying one time, played men's league, someone said, "You got your skate sharpened?" I said, "Skate sharpened lately? I'm 260 pounds. Why do I need my skate sharpened?" They just sink into the ice.
Yeah.
But the point being, we do have these sharp blades, and everyone's got them. And I know Don Cherry for years was always against the kids. He always was for net guards, and he always said, "Kids, don't be doing those pile ups after you win overtime," or because he was worried about that.
That's
and I just he was saying that in the 90s, and just I think we all just kind of take it for granted. But like I said, I haven't seen anything even close to this. I'm just wondering if you had.
I'll touch on what you just said. My wife mentions this every time we watch a game or there's a celebration. She cringes when she sees these pileups because there's you got 20 guys with skates on. She's like, someone's going to get stepped on. And I actually saw it happen at the end of 2016 when Grand Rapids beats Duluth East in the championship at the Amsoil Arena, and Mitchell Madsen got snapped with a skate in the hand right there in the pileup. It was like, holy cow, I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but it happened during the celebration. His hand got slit. Okay. So I've seen that before. I had a player that was a goaltender in Virginia, and it was a really scary scenario, but there was a player that went flying to the net in practice, like you ask kids to do. You want them to go to the net. Well, he loses an edge or trips and falls. Whatever happened, I can't even remember, but the skate came up and caught the goalie on the side of the neck. And luckily it missed everything that could have made it just as bad. We were able to get him real quick. It wasn't a real deep cut. It was one where we can grab it, put pressure on it, get him going. And he was back stitched up and ready to play in a week. But those scary situations happen, and it's unfortunate because that's an area that we can protect. And we should. You stand here and say this, and I never wore a neck guard. I don't want to say that out loud to so many kids. I never did. But if I'm going back out on the rink after a situation like this, you darn right I would be putting one on right now, because I'd be terrified, especially if you got your whole life ahead of you, or if you got a family to protect and this and that. And I also had a situation too when I was at Bantam. When I was playing Bantam hockey, I'm going towards the goalie to go to the net and going hard. And for whatever reason, the goalie ended up falling back and his foot comes up and it caught me and it caught me in the side and cut me through my jersey. I had, 10 stitches on the side of my body, and it wasn't even exposed skin. It was through the jersey. Yeah. So, you can see, obviously these things can happen, but you think about, the NHL right now, there's guys that are choosing to do it, and go online, check out the Washington Capitals, check out TJ Oshie. He was one of the first guys to say, I'm doing this for my family and I'm doing it for my safety. And he's starting to wear one.
Yeah, I see
a neck protector.
Yeah, and I see the WHL, they're mandatory. As a matter of fact, today, Friday, when we're recording, there was another time actually I did get stepped in the hand. See that?
Yep.
Brawl. Guess who started that one?
You probably did.
TJ Tom. TJ
started
so
it.
Anyway,
I did
forget. And then I remember the doctor saying, "Boy, you're lucky you didn't get attendant, because you'd be in trouble. You'd have trouble." But missed everything. But yeah, WHL making it mandatory. So your thoughts, Minnesota State High School League? You think it will happen for this season?
I really can't. I can't give a yes or a no. I really don't know. I would say Minnesota hockey, as far as youth hockey, And because youth hockey kind of steers that with certain things in high school hockey, if youth hockey did it, I would think the high school organization would give it stronger consideration, but I don't think Minnesota youth hockey will make anything mandatory until USA Hockey does it.
Oh, okay.
That's their mother
Yeah,
organization. They're kind of like the daughter organization. I really don't know. I hope that it's looked at, to be honest with you. I know it's not going to be comfortable for those that are not used to wearing them, but it's just like anything else, you know, you're not used to wearing it. You start wearing it in practice, you start wearing it at other parts, you wear it outside. There's different kinds, you know, you can wear the big thick ones that have plastic in them that are really protective and they're hard to move in, or you can wear these other ones that are, it's literally like an undershirt that's like a mock turtleneck. Find something that works best for you to protect yourself. But, just like TJ Oshie said the other day when he made this tweet, he said, I'm doing this for me and the rest of my career, and I'm doing it for my kids.
Yeah.
I hope we think about that.
Well, when I was a kid, we had them. I don't remember those Coopers. They were only about this thick, and they kind of went around. So I mean, it could have got you, but I kind of liked it because it was cold in the arenas we played it. And it was almost like a neck warmer. So do they have more full fledged? I mean, I know the ones with the shirts. They get the ones with the shirts. So they have full-fledged?
Yeah, they do. They've got a bunch of different kinds. They've got some that go up that look like you hurt your neck in a car accident. They got some that look that high. They've got others that are a little lower. They've got some that have thicker plastic on the inside. Some just has a thicker material that's got some other things in it that can help with cut resistant things like that. But it's going to be a personal preference of some sort for a little while if they do make it mandatory. I can't say whether or not the state high school league will do it.
So no rumblings.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet. But I could tell you that they probably are going to be looking at it and giving it a very serious conversation.
Well, I can imagine. And then I did hear something along the lines of, supply chain, same thing, like all of a sudden, if all these leagues say now, well, they're not going to be available because they just.
Well, they'll put pressure on Bauer and CCM and all these other companies that make hockey equipment to start producing them quicker and quicker. The companies that make them, like I said, Bauer, CCM, iTech, these companies make them.
Yeah.
And you get the Warroad brand. That's what TJ wears. His brand.
Yeah.
So
I'm not wearing anything with Warroad on it. Tell you that much
for sure.
All right. So circling back to Adam, anything else on Adam before we close?
No, just that, there's a connection to just about anybody on the range. I know you have your connection with older brother Ryan and family, and I have my connection through friends of mine, knowing the DeGrios and being coached by the DeGrios. And there's a connection, whether it's a long distance connection or it's a real close personal connection, and it hits everybody close to home. So if there's things that people are struggling with, if they're hurting in this situation, you reach out and do that if you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, everyone in Minnesota knew Adam Johnson's name in 2011 after that state tournament. Now, unfortunately, everyone knows Adam Johnson's name for a whole different reason. It's just a terrible tragedy. So just a couple of things here. There, the family is starting a foundation in his name to support Chisholm Hibbing youth hockey. If we can find a link or something, we will put it in here. Otherwise, I'm sure you can do a quick search on social media or something and find that if you'd like to donate. Service info Monday, November 6th at the Memorial Building in Hibbing, 1:30 to 3:30 visitation, 3:30 to 5:30 service, and there'll be some food and fellowship over at the Hibbing Armory afterwards. And feel free to share your story, whether you want to type something or even record a video, put it in the comments. And it might not be now, it might not be time, you might not be ready, because he was quirky, funny, witty. So he was fun to spend some time with. So if you've got some funny Adam stories, like I said, even if it's a year from now, you're coming across our show for the first time, feel free to share that story in the comments, so we can kind of remember Adam forever through the comments on this video. And I think that's all I've got. So rest in peace, Johnsy. We're gonna miss you, and we'll catch you on the next video. Welcome everybody to the Tea with Ms McGill Show, presented by Fortune Bay Resort and Casino. It is Puka speaking. It is the star of the show, Reed Larson, looking very dapper with his ODR hat. Welcome to episode 67. I've got a very special guest here, as you can see, but thanks for joining, excuse me, I'm calling it the fastest growing podcast in the good old US of A.
I like it.
So we're almost on the various platforms, almost to 600 subscribers. So we'd appreciate if you took a second, just hit subscribe. Obviously, the hockey season's coming, so you're not going to want to miss a second of the action anyway. So if you could subscribe, we'd really appreciate that. Before we get going here, well, first off, how you doing?
Well, it's been a fun summer / fall. We're getting into the mix of my other side job that I do with teaching and coaching hockey. We're at the playoffs area of the football season here too, so it's fun.
Yeah, that's what, Tuesday?
Yeah,
Tuesday. Okay, yeah. So, well, awesome. All right. Aspire Heating Control. We've talked about them before. Your local Bryant dealer and the official heating and cooling company of your Minnesota Wild, specializing in gas, electric, and hydronic heating and cooling systems for existing and new construction, residential and commercial installations available, forced air systems, boilers, heat pumps, mini splits. Everything you got covered. Winter is coming. Get that furnace tuned up. Give Justin a call, 999-5957, 218-999-5957. Of course, licensed and bonded, all that stuff. So Aspire Heating and Control is who you turn to. All right, so very special guest joining us from, I think it's upstate New York, isn't it?
Yep, way up north, kind of near Ottawa border, Canadian border.
Wow, okay, so all the way from upstate New York, Cristiano Versich, a fantastic hockey player in his own right, so we're going to kind of hash it down with him and get to know him a little bit better. So, our first question all the time, just what got you in the game? How'd you get started?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me. So I would say, obviously, for those who know the Versich name, up in Hibbing, like it's a huge hockey name, huge hockey family. My grandpa, Edward P.G. Versich, I would say started it, instilled that love for the game in his 5 kids, my aunts and uncles, and then my mom. And then, my mom, I would say, ultimately instilled it in me, whether I wanted to or not. There was no really choice there. Like I was going to be a hockey player. So I would say just it runs in the family. Obviously, you guys know my cousins like Ryan, Michael, Tony, Casey all played. Grew up watching them play high school hockey. And like I said, it's run in the family, and I've loved it ever since I can remember. From what I heard, there was a lot of tears at the beginning, but for what I've been able to, for what I've been able to accomplish and get to, I would say like it's all been worth it. So yeah.
So I was talking to somebody about you today. Did you play some youth hockey in Wisconsin?
So sort of. I played youth hockey at Highland Central, and then I would say somewhere around 7th or 8th grade, I played for the Wisconsin Fire, which is like a more AAA type team. So I guess you could say youth hockey, but I played I think 1 year for them. It had like a lot of really good Minnesota, Wisconsin. I would say that'd be middle school aged players. Like Tommy Novak was on there. And then a lot of guys who ended up going to St. Thomas with me and then playing college hockey as well. So I played 1 year there. Yeah. From what I can remember. And that, before I went to St. Thomas. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like kind of getting into the Versich name. It's like you said, it's interesting that you say that it was mom that got you into it, because lots of times we hear it was grandpa, it was dad, mom instilled it in from that side. Talk about the influence that you had there from mom. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about my mom, hockey wise or not hockey wise. She is my everything for sure, and vice versa. She's helped me become, I'd like to think a good person today. All hockey related things aside. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where she got the love of the game, probably from her brother, my uncle Eddie, and then my grandpa, like I mentioned, but she is a diehard hockey fan. Anyone who's ever watched one of my games with her knows she is crazy, screaming,
I love it.
yelling, grabbing anyone around her. Just crazy fan. But again, it just comes from like that love for me and that love for the game. I don't know why it was a non-negotiable, but from what I remember, she was the one who taught me how to skate. She was the one who brought me to the rink every single day, stayed there, watched countless hours at the rink, away from the rink, practicing in the garage, stuff like that. It was always her. So I owe her everything for, getting to where I got in the game. And like I said, I can't say enough good things about her. She is probably the most influential, like I said, and deserves probably almost all the credit for where I got. Obviously, there's other people too, but she's at the top of the list for sure.
That's pretty cool from one mama's boy to the other. I can't say that my mom was the reason why I played. It was probably my mom's dad, grandpa.
Yeah.
I just, I feel you with the mama's boy. It's
Hey, I'll gladly accept that title. I am one for sure. Still.
Well, speaking of that, she wrote a book on how to be a hockey mom, right?
Yeah. Yep, she did write a book. I don't know exactly. I haven't read it in full, which is bad. I should. But I've heard really good things about it. I know she spent a lot of time on it. And all of it is genuine. None of it is like I heard this there, I saw that, it's her living it as she did from when I first started playing, which was 3-4, to all the way up to when I stopped playing or when the book was written, which I think it was sometime when I was in college. So, it's real world, real life experience, through her eyes, which, I think can be helpful to moms and dads, hockey dads, for informational, what kind of situations you might deal with, how to handle them. I know it's still for sale, so anyone who wants it, please get it. But yeah, she wrote a book, and I'm sure she
Yeah,
did.
give her a plug. What's it called?
Yeah, I'd have to check. I can probably try to get it quickly in the middle of the show, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's from her experience through her lens. There isn't any, like I said, I heard it here, heard it there, but I've heard good stuff about it. I'm a busy guy, so I haven't been able to read it, but
I'm not much
yeah,
of a reader either, but
I'm not either.
read things that are like things like that. Like if it's something that's relevant to what my passions are, like for real, I'd pick a book up like that and read it front to back. If it's about
Yeah.
or hockey coaches or players, it's like someone's bragging about that one. It's one I'd actually read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff here. Smash the like button real quick here. We want to give you a quick word from our friends over at the Ring Sports Bar and Grill, just down from the Hockey Hall of Fame. Would you say a good chip?
Yeah, I would say it's about a sandwich from the Hockey Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, full bar, full menu, Friday fish fries all year round. And of course, daily specials, hockey themed. If you've ever been in there, it's a really cool place. Give Michelle a call, 248-8582. She'll take good care of you. You can log in to ringsportsbarandgrill.com and put your order in there. And of course, like I said, they've got the breakout rooms. If you have any kind of functions you're trying to do over in the Quad Cities area, that's the place to go. So thanks again to our friends over at the Ring Sports Bar and Grill in Evelyn.
Probably the coolest part about that place is when you go in and you see the little stalls and all the jerseys above all the stalls. I love it.
The locker stalls. Yeah.
The rink is awesome.
All right. So like I said, you became a St. Thomas cadet. Tell us a little bit about that. Walk us through it. You probably know that the guy at the state tournament never wore a suit. He just wore like that kind of tight shirt. He had nice arms, good looking guy. Was that your coach? You probably know who that is.
Vanelli?
There.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I played for the Vanellis, both of them. The brothers, Greg and Tom. They were awesome. But yeah, no, like kind of going back to the beginning. When I was looking at high schools, my mom wanted me to go private, so that was pretty easy to narrow down, I guess. And then within our area, which was St. Paul, Highland Park, you had Hill Murray, Cretin-Derham Hall, and St. Thomas Academy. I visited all three. I liked all three. We had a family friend who really highly vouched for St. Thomas Academy. Jim Killeberg is his name. He is kind of the equipment manager slash the guy who kind of makes everything go. Doesn't get a lot of credit, but shout out to Jim. I love him. He was probably a huge part in the decision, but and then obviously that was kind of where I leaned, St. Thomas, just because the education, the beautiful school location. It was really close to our house back then, just right across Mendota Bridge. So yeah, I made that decision there. I loved every minute of being there. It definitely, like I said, it's cliche, but kind of made me who I am. You don't get away with things that maybe you get away with at other schools at St. Thomas.
Well, that was the irony. You guys had to wear uniforms. Here comes your coach. He's just got like a long sleeve shirt on, no collar, just hanging out on the bench. It's just like the irony.
Yeah, no, it was really strict. Certain haircut, tight on the sides, military classes, marching. Just discipline. At the moment, in the moment, I didn't really realize why like we would do certain things, and I thought it was kind of dumb, but now I understand, being older now, that there was a purpose for it, and it just teaches you good habits, discipline, and just ultimately they kind of taught you how to be a man and a gentleman, and a good person. So, I can't speak enough about the off ice stuff at St. Thomas, which made it an easy decision when I went to visit there. But obviously the hockey program is historic, legendary, in a way, for how good and how much success they've had. So that was a huge part in it. But yeah, when I got there, I was treated super well, and I loved every minute of it. Like I said, the Vanellis are awesome. They're tough, especially Tom. He expects a lot out of the guys, and he's really hard on the guys, or he was. He's not coaching anymore, but there was yelling and stuff. But at the end of the day, I think it was good to experience that in high school, because when you get out of high school, that's extremely normal to be playing for really tough coaches who expect a lot and don't give you really any leash. So it was good to experience that early, because when then I got to junior and coaches were, quite frankly, I don't know if you can swear on this, but assholes at times. I had already experienced a little bit of that from Tom. So it was like nothing. But like I said, I have nothing but the best to say about everyone at St. Thomas, from top to bottom. It was an amazing experience, and I miss it a lot. But yeah, all good stuff.
So state tournaments, I know you're in at least one. How many were you in, and did you get any titles?
Yeah, I played in the single A one my sophomore year. We won that one. That was pretty crazy. We won the Class A state championship. We played Hermantown. Crazy game, back and forth.
What year was that? 14, 13?
13, should have been 13. Tommy Novak scored like a crazy goal with a couple seconds left. T-bowed all the way across center ice. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was crazy. And then my junior year, yeah. My junior year, we didn't make it. We probably should have. It was probably the best team we had, maybe close to the sophomore year team, because Tommy was still there. He left my senior year, but Tommy was there, and we just ran into a tough Egan team and ended up losing in the section final, which was tough. But then my senior year, we had a really, really good team as well. Pretty much walked through the section tournament and got to the state tournament, but then we were up. This is a tough story to tell, but we were up like 4-5-1, I want to say, on Duluth East in the quarterfinal, and then they came back and beat us in overtime. I think it was 6-5. So that is probably one of my biggest hockey regrets, letting that one slip away, because I think we probably would have maybe won the championship or got to it.
Was that the year they went on the run where they came in like the 8th seed or whatever and kind of went on that run?
I think they beat us, and then I want to say they beat Edina as well, and then lost to Lakeville North. That was the 31-0 team or whatever. So that would have been tough to beat them, but we probably could have got to the championship. And if we did, you know, anything could have happened. So a little bit of a regret there, but you know, really good experience. It was the coolest experience ever, playing in the state tournament. You
It'd be
know,
interesting to see the change in now the coach that ended up running that Duluth East team and taking you guys down is now the coach of St. Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah.
the head cheese at St. Thomas Academy. It's pretty interesting how things just they flip and change, and then, it's gonna be interesting to see what he does with the program there on that. And thoughts in that realm?
Yeah, he's awesome. I don't know if you guys know him well or not, but Mike is unbelievable guy. I actually didn't know him too well until I went to St. Thomas University, because we shared the rink with them, locker room right across the hall. So I got to know him really well that year, and he's awesome. You know, I think the program is in great hands with him. I mean, quite frankly, he's probably one of the best high school hockey coaches ever.
No question.
For me. So yeah, it is weird though, because you wouldn't think that like a northern Minnesota coach would like go to like St. Thomas, you know, like that's like unheard of territory. But I'm glad he's there, and you know, I think, like I said, they're in good hands with him for sure.
Yeah, Mike has been, I've known Mike for years, and you know, a lot of going back to my days of playing high school hockey. I graduated from Grand Rapids, so it was always Grand Rapids playing against Duluth East in the section finals when I was playing, and losing to those guys during my years. You know, I didn't get a chance to play in the state tournament because we had to go against those top end Dave Spihars and Chris Lockers that he coached, and the teams he coached. And those were kind of, I'm not going to say it's the very beginning of his career, but it's closer to the beginning of his career. And he was on the climb at that point in his career. So from that point on, there was always respect for him. And then getting into coaching myself and watching just the way he's been able to run organization at Duluth East and build, you know, championship teams and a championship culture, and then watching him shift and move on and continue. There's a lot of respect there. He definitely is one of the best coaches in the history of Minnesota State high school hockey. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's just like, that's just a prime example that, you know, it doesn't always matter like necessarily who has the better players, because with all due respect to Duluth East, we had a way better team than them. And I promise you their guys would say the same thing. But when you have the buy-in and you have the coaching difference, you know, it shows that coaching can make a big difference. Strategy. You know, I ultimately think he was the difference there that day, not necessarily the guys on the ice. You know, and that just shows you how good of a coach he is, like you said.
No question about it. You watch him do things with his teams that I couldn't believe that he was able to get the buy-in that you're talking about. Like you're running a system that kids really most times don't like to play that system because it's not fun. It's not sexy to run that kind of system, but it wins games. And it's like, you talk about it every time I watch his teams play. He's setting up the Christmas tree.
Yeah, I was running the trap,
and they're trapping, and these kids are disciplined is all. And you talk about the discipline. He's not going to be a problem with that at St. Thomas Academy. The discipline is going to be there already, but it's like this is mold and how he does things. The way he gets guys to play is, I can't think of a coach that's right now that's been there around that long that can do that stuff.
Old school guy. Yeah. So you talked about, of course, Mike, Northern Minnesota. So you used to spend some time summers and such in northern Minnesota. Coach Hanno, your cousin, he said, we used to call him Dennis when he was a little kid. He was like, Dennis the Menace, always running around. What do you remember about your summers and spending time at the lake and such up north?
Yeah, so I mean, to be quite honest with you, I never really liked Hibbing. So I'll just touch on this and then I'll go back. I never liked Hibbing when I was younger. I never liked it. I hated it. You can ask anyone. I hated going there. I always said it's super boring, blah, 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 blah. Now, at my age, I love Hibbing. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. I had the hardest time leaving, to come take this job. It's just, as I got older, I began to understand like the family part, the small town, the friendship, the beauty of the area. You're not sitting in traffic. There's no crazy people for the most part. So that's kind of, as I've grown, I began to appreciate Hibbing and what it, represents. And for me, like family and things that are really important to me. But yeah, so going back, like I said, I never liked going there, but yeah, I did enjoy like the holidays and being with my family and stuff. But overall, I was always bored there. So maybe that's why I got the nickname, because I was up to no good trying to create.
Kind of what he said.
Yeah, they still sometimes call me that, by the way. It's like Dennis the Menace, like after that like movie character. I've never seen it, but from what I heard, like my mom will say the same thing. I was kind of a mischievous, misbehaving kid. So I remember one time Ryan was down like visiting, or I don't know where it was, if it was in Hibbing or in the cities, but like me and Ryan were playing like floor hockey or something, and you can ask him about this, like he remembers it. And I don't know what happened, but he pissed me off so much, and I took the stick and I whacked him over the head with it. And I don't know if that was when it was born or what, but he had to get stitches. And I was kind of a shithead kid, to be honest. Like I remember I'd get in trouble at school for talking or whatever too much, and stuff like that. So it's probably good I went to St. Thomas, got nipped in the butt, some of those bad habits. But yeah, no, going back to your question, I loved it for the most part, other than I love it more now, but I still appreciated it when I was younger. Like I've always been in the position where I don't get to see my family as much as they get to see each other, because I never lived up there. I was always down in the cities. So when I did get to see them, it meant a lot more to me, I think. And then as I got older, I saw them even less, because I was on the road in Chicago, Fargo for juniors. Then I was in Colorado. Then I was in Europe last year. So whenever I get to see them, it means a lot to me. And it's just grown over the years more and more. So fond memories, I miss my grandparents a lot. But I had some great times with them. They're gone now. But just to bring it into modern day, like just trying to continue their traditions and, spend as much time with family as I can. Obviously, everyone kind of has their own little families now, but that's what makes it more special and, good when we can all come together. And I'll be back for Christmas, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone. So.
All right, really quick word from our friend over at Iron Range Apparel in the Thunderbird Mall in Virginia, exclusive store of the ODR line. Of course, we both got our ODR swag on right here. I call it the gift buyer's paradise. Like I said, man, woman, adult, child, you can find anything. So if you're if you're looking for that perfect gift, run over to the Thunderbird Mall, check it out. They've got all kinds of gifts, knickknacks, Minnesota themed things. Of course, lots of hockey. The ODR line's got hats, caps, sweatshirts, jerseys, everything. So if you're looking for ODR swag, that's great. But like I said, they've got a lot more than just that. So check out Iron Range Apparel at the Thunderbird Mall in Virginia. All right. So we talked about high school, then you moved on. And like you said, it looks like 3 junior teams you played for in the USHL.
Yeah, a little bit of a suitcase, as they would say. But no, I got to Chicago, and I had a good year there. I liked it, but I have family in Fargo. My dad's parents, so my grandparents lived there. So I wanted to get traded there. It was really nothing against Chicago. I just wanted to live with my grandparents and have that like easy, nice experience. So as for the trade there, Kerry Eads made it happen.
Oh,
Um,
Eads was okay. Eads,
Yep,
wow.
yep. I actually saw him like a month ago at the Null showcase. But yeah, so went there. I loved it there too, but it kind of came down to the end of the season and I was looking for maybe a little bit something different because I was going to go to college the next year. So I kind of wanted maybe a little bit more of an elevated role. So I asked for another trade at the end of the year, got traded to Bloomington, Illinois. That was fine too, just 15 games. I did fine there too. And yeah, no, I moved around quite a bit. Um, looking back, I wish I probably would have told myself like grass isn't always greener. Even to this day, I wish I knew that with college, with juniors, with pro, with whatever. I kind of wish I would have stuck it out in one place because I think that's the way to do it. Like I said, the grass isn't always greener, but no, juniors was good. That's a really tough league. It's even better today. There's pretty much every guy is a Division I guy or a draft pick or both. It's physical and really skilled, which is pretty uncommon for U.S. junior leagues. It really prepared me for Colorado College. Like I said when I got to Colorado College, I didn't feel like that was a step up. So that should show you how high of that the USHL is because when I got to college, I felt like it was about the same speed, about the same quality of player. So like I said, that should just show you how tough that league is.
That's just because you're in the thin air up there. You couldn't go full speed. You couldn't get a full breath. I mean, at Colorado,
I will tell you, I don't think I ever adjusted fully to that. You joke about it. I joke about it too, but I truly don't think I ever adjusted to the altitude in Colorado. Like it got better and I trained so hard. I trained there in the summers even to try to like help it. And I think I ultimately like figured it out, but I never felt like I would feel at, normal. There was always that different, that air is just so thin. You're like, and like just you don't get that full breath like that Minnesota air breath. But
it's such a advantage when you go to school there and you play there.
oh, yeah.
When the teams come in for the weekend, like that legitimately has to be, and I'm sure it is, has to be a coaching strategy when you're preparing to go into Colorado College or you're preparing to go into Denver for the weekend. It's such an advantage for the home team when teams have to go out there. I went out there when I was in high school just for like a summer AAA team type of select situation. I was playing for a Minnesota team that went out to Vail. And I could not last more than 20 seconds in a shift. And I'm gasping for air trying to figure out playing this. And I'm going, this is horrible. I can't figure this out right now. And it's amazing that you say that because there's no way I could adjust in a matter of playing 5 games. And I could see it. It probably takes years to adjust.
Yeah, no, like I said, I truly never thought I felt like I fully adjusted to it. I from what I heard, it was hell coming there to play, especially on the first night. From what I heard, like dripping sweat, gear is soaked, can't breathe. And that ultimately gave us an advantage pretty much every first night against teams. From what I heard, second night was a little better, like not such a glaring difference. But yeah, like Scotty Prunovich told me, it was horrible coming there.
Yeah. I mean, you're sucking on oxygen on the bench in the locker room between periods, just trying to get caught up.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just something about it. Like it's hot. Like our building was hot too. And just that on top of like the thin air. And I don't know, it was tough. But like I said, and when you would go somewhere else, you would be like, holy crap, like we were flying, like did not get tired. Like when we'd go somewhere sea level, like our energy and like our tank was like unlimited. At least it felt like. So that was a nice little thing as well.
All All right, we're going to take a break here in about 3 minutes, but some of the guys who play, of course, Iron Range podcast here. So we've got, some of the guys with Iron Range connections, Mitch Madsen, Stayskull. We'll even throw Ryan Sandelin in there since his dad's from. You have any good stories of playing with those guys down in Bloomington?
Yeah, I mean, Ryan was like one of my best friends there. Like we were super close. Obviously, we kind of went our separate ways, so like it died out a little bit, but no specific stories, but I remember him and I got along really well. We both had like this dry, kind of dumb sense of humor. Immature is probably the word. But yeah, we were really good friends. Mitch was awesome too, and Zach. They're quieter guys, or more mature, I guess you could say. They are awesome too. Obviously, all really good players. And it was awesome to be with all those guys. I wish I could play. Wish I would have been able to play more with them, but it is what it is.
And then current Minnesota Wild, Brandon Duane. As a bit nice Gino the other night here when you played down in Chicago. Did you know him well?
Yeah, he was actually my line mate. That kind of shows you maybe I went wrong somewhere, but I played with him and another kid named Tanner Lazinski, who's hopped up and down with the Flyers and then Lehigh, the American League team. So yeah, like I said, maybe I must have went wrong somewhere, but those are my line mates for pretty much the entire year in Chicago. Maybe that's why I had such a good year, but they were like my best friends. Dewey was like my best friend. One of them in Chicago, like we were really, really close, lived near each other, just did everything together, really, me and him and Tanner. So, obviously it's been crazy to see like where he's gotten. He's a stud and he's really, fit well with the Wild organization. So, I talked to him here and there. I was trying to get out to a game and see him, but it didn't work out. But yeah, hopefully we can, connect soon. But great guy, also really good guy.
Awesome. All right, break time.
Yeah, we'll take a break in here.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, we're back once again. Our special guest, Cristiano Versic. All right, so we kind of got the youth stuff taken care of. We got the junior stuff taken care of. So on to Colorado College for 4 years. What do you have to say about your experience out there besides the lack of oxygen?
Yeah, no. Nothing but good stuff. When I was in high school, I got recruited there. It was one of the first teams to recruit me. Guy by the name of RJ Enga. He's now with St. Cloud State as an assistant, but I was at Chicago Steel, like summer camp sort of thing. And RJ and I started talking. Incredible guy, still is to this day. Really connected with him. I went out there for a visit, I want to say the summer before my senior year of high school, and I just fell in love with it. I had never really been out west much, especially not like to the mountains. And I fell in love with the mountains immediately. Fell in love with the campus, fell in love with the school, fell in love with the rink, fell in love with the coaching staff. I did not even really care to see too many other places. After seeing it, I took the offer pretty quickly. Financially, it was a no-brainer with, the amount that they offered and, for how good the staff was to me, and how much I love the area, it was a no-brainer. Like I said, I can't say enough about it. Have some great memories and great friends from there for a lifetime. The hockey was incredible. The conference there is extremely tough, but extremely rewarding playing in that. I loved it because I was able to come back to Minnesota for 2 weekends a year and also North Dakota as well. So I was able to still see family and play in front of family, which is, really important to me. But yeah, nothing but good stuff to say. Mike Haviland was the head coach there. He's a really, really, really good coach and a really, really good guy. I loved it. Like I said, I have nothing but good stuff to say about it. I thought I played pretty well when I was there. Obviously, it gets tougher and tougher, and There's highs and lows with everything. But at the end of the day, I got a really good education. And like I said, I played some really good hockey and met some really good people. And, one day I would love to go back out there. I don't know under what scenario that would be.
Well, you're
Coaching.
coaching now. It's just a natural progression, right?
Yeah,
Coach
maybe.
would be like the dream. But I'm just trying to, do what I can here and help Canton out. And I love it here as well, by the way. But yeah, so that would be maybe like you said, a natural progression, a dream really. But yeah, so that's really all I got to say about it. Only good stuff.
So who was your big rival there? Is it Denver or is it Air Force?
It was definitely Denver. We hate Denver. The
Just
motto, I guess, is FDU. That's the motto, and they actually say it. They're not respectful like me. But yeah, that's like our motto. We hate Denver. Always have, always will. Always tough, close games against them. Packed rink. If I will tell you one memory that I have at CC. Freshman year, we were playing Denver away. I think it was my first game against Denver. It was super tight back and forth. One of the first games of the year, I think, in my college career. We go to overtime. We get a power play 4-on-3. So it's 3-on-3, obviously, you guys know, but then they got a penalty. So we got the extra guy. Scored the OT winner against Denver. Celebration, full ice, guys clear the bench. Like easily one of my best memories ever from hockey. Unfortunately, not all the games ended like that. A lot of them we got our ass kicked. To be frank, they were tough. They're obviously a top 5 team pretty much every year, but every game was tough. Every game was fun. And ultimately helped me prepare for the next level. And, Air Force 2 is also a big rival, but we didn't necessarily have as hard of a time with them, I guess I would say, like respectfully. They're tough. They work so hard. Reminds me a lot of St. Thomas Academy. But, just on paper, we usually were able to take care of them, but still tight, still fun. But yeah, it's definitely Denver. We hate Denver. So yeah.
Yeah, Air Force has always kind of got just that little bit of an iron range swing to them with Coach Saratori being from in / Taconite, Bovee, where he's in that realm over there. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong one because somebody listening to the podcast, he's not from Bovee. I don't know which one he's from, but he's from the Greenway.
Yeah, he's a Greenway boy.
So
his blood's about similar to my shirt.
Yeah.
All right. So then a cool thing about your college career. So then you move over, and I think you ended up with some master's degrees. You ended up at St. Thomas University for their very first year. And if I'm right, you were the very first captain and the first ever leading scorer of St. Thomas University. Am I correct in all those?
Almost. Not a captain. I wish. Not a good enough leader, but I did score the first goal, and I, like you said, I led the team in stats that the first year, but it wasn't really about that for me. It was such a good group of guys, and again, such a great coaching staff, led by Rico Blasi, and then Leon Hayward, who was with me at CC and then was moved to St. Thomas. So that's kind of a cool connection. Played with him in both spots, but yeah, it was cool. It was just, we got treated super well there. As well. And, I had the opportunity to do some master's credits, like you said, which was, a good experience. Obviously, by that time, I was pretty schooled out, to be honest with you. But, it was a real full circle moment, I guess, being back in the same rink that I played high school in. And like I said, being right down the hallway from the locker room. And, it was awesome. It was tough. I mean, it was our first year, and a lot of nights we were outmatched on paper, but we fought like hell. And like I said, it was a great group of guys, and that team is just continually trended in the right direction. They had a really good year last year, and now they're really, really good in my opinion. I think there's nothing but good stuff coming for them. You know, in my opinion, they're going to be probably a top 10, top 20 team for years to come, you know, probably starting this year or next year, maybe. You know, Rico's really got that brotherhood culture thing. He loves that. And it really works ultimately. So yeah, it was good. It was, you know, I wanted to play another year of college, and being able to come that close to home and be a part of that inaugural year and have the success like we did and I did, you know, it was just, like I said, a full circle, really a blessing. It was awesome.
So is Rico as intense as he looks? It's like he's compared to like Torts in the NHL. I mean, he looks like he's just dripping with intensity.
Yeah, yeah. He's. Let me just preface by saying he's a really good coach, and an even better guy. But yeah, he expects a lot out of his players, and he's not willing to tell you that. And if you're not doing what he wants, like, he's not shy to tell you in a loud tone, I guess we could say. You get the idea. But yeah, he's a good coach. Like I said, really tough. Like you said, really intimidating. But at the end of the day, his track record and his success speaks for itself. So whatever he's doing, it works, and I've seen how it works firsthand. You know, he gets guys to buy in, you know, and believe in something more than themselves, which is ultimately how you have success in a team sport. So, you know, he's doing the right thing there, like I said, and, you know, that team has a really, really bright future, in my opinion.
All right, really quick word here from our friends over at Fortune Bay Resort and Casino. Make plans today to visit Fortune Bay Resort and Casino on beautiful Lake Vermilion. Fortune Bay has 172 rooms and a smoke-free resort with an indoor pool, for full-service marina, RV park, world-class golf, several dining options, bar, 24/7 gaming. So go to fortunebay.com for more details and plan your trip up to Fortune Bay today. Go catch some walleyes. Fall fishing's good on Lake Vermilion.
Well, if you're gonna go there to golf, just take a couple of trips. I don't know, say 20 yards
Yeah.
to the left on any of the long fairways, and you will find a bunch of my golf balls.
Yeah, we'll take a trip this summer. We'll bring Cristiano with us. All right. So then, kind of to wrap up your playing career. So then you, like I said, you mentioned it earlier, you head to Europe, you head to France of all places, you know, to continue your career and score some goals.
Yeah, I'd like to have scored more,
How
but
did that come all about? Like, do you have an agent, or do you have a friend, or?
yeah, so I had an advisor, you know, who worked really closely with teams in Europe. You know, I had a few different options in the States and then a few different options in Europe. And, you know, I ultimately decided on France, mostly because, one, I wanted to play in Europe due to the different playing style. Obviously, you guys know North American hockey, especially professional, is really tough, mean, gritty, checking. Obviously, their skill as well. But it's more built for like bigger physical players. That's not me. That never was me. That never will be me. So having that opportunity to go overseas and play a more skilled, speed, the Olympic size rinks, it was really a no-brainer. In France, the league I played in was really, really good. You know, I think some of those leagues don't really get a lot of credit over in the States because it's pretty unknown, you know, the level. But some of the guys there were former pro guys in the States, NHL players, incredibly skilled. I was shocked how skilled these players were, how fast. And I loved every minute of it because it was everything that I was good at, but not so physical. Also the big sheet of ice, which I played in Colorado College. So I knew I loved that. Having that extra space is huge for forwards, smaller forwards like me, and it's hard on D-men. Like, I can just tell you that right now. But so it was a no-brainer, and yeah, I loved it there. You know, it was demanding. Like the first month I was there, we basically had like a training camp where we would skate like twice a day and work out like once or twice a day, which was brutal on my hip
You're in
flexors.
Russia or what? Jeez.
Yeah, It felt like it, but guys don't, what I came to understand was guys didn't really work out or skate in the summer. They would come to training camp like pretty much dry, raw, having not skated. And then that month was where they got in shape. I had been skating all summer, like to prepare. And I probably didn't need to do that because then I got bagged for a month when I got there. But that's kind of how they do it there. But yeah, it was good. It was, like I said, really high end, treated well there. Hockey was great. We had a great fan base, great building. We were just 30 minutes outside Paris, so I got to go and see that quite a bit, kind of experience France. I don't love Europe. Like I was happy to come home. Just it's a lot different. If you guys have been there, it's just way different culture, obviously. And I really like I said, family, American football, stuff like that. I missed out on all that because of the time change, like the game we're watching right now, or have on in the background, Thursday night football. It's 4 a.m. there. I missed all of it. So that was a big thing for me. Kind of grew distant from some family and stuff because it's so far and that time change. Which made it ultimately kind of why I decided to come back and look into different options. But overall, I loved it. I would not trade it in for anything. It's one of those things where you had to do it and see it and experience it. And, it probably wasn't really for me. Like I'm a family, kind of even a small town guy, I'd hate to say now. But I kind of have become that. So, like I said, ultimately I wanted to come home, but hockey was great. People were great. For the most part, French people were nice, but there also were like some snobs, but there is everywhere. So, but
Did you
yeah,
find a favorite wine?
I'm not a big wine guy, actually. It's funny you say that because the head coach here at Canton and our other assistant, like love wine. Like, let's just say they drink a lot of wine. I'm not going to say anything specific, but and they're like, yeah, how much wine did you drink there? Like, you got to like be into wine, right? I'm like, no, like I don't drink wine. I didn't drink much there. Like I was so focused on playing. Like I wish maybe I would have experienced more, but I've always been like tunnel vision. Like I was there for hockey, like dial in, like, be there for hockey. But yeah, no wine, but I will say a lot of pastries, like a lot.
Oh, is
Like,
that their big thing? Pastries too?
like croissants, and the food was actually delicious there. Like there was this bakery right across from the rink, but like a bakery there is more like a lunch restaurant. So they did also have lunch, but then like full display of bakery every day, chocolate croissants, like mini donuts, like anything, all fresh, all delicious. That is one thing I miss about France is like the pastries and the food. But yeah, it was great. It was a good experience.
Sign me up.
Good, yeah.
Jeez, sign me up.
I
Jeez.
could do that.
Yeah, I think just last thing on it, I think if I was there like as a tourist for like a week or two, I would have a lot more things to say about it that were like really good. But when you're kind of there like on work, you're not getting that touristy experience that the people are that come over. So that would be probably why I would say like it's a little different. I would say if you can go there, go there. Everyone who's gone there tells me they love it. So maybe I'm, in the wrong, but
Maybe down the road, it's go back for a vacation and not have to be worrying about playing
Yes.
hockey while you're there and living. It's okay.
Yeah.
Now let's do the touristy stuff I did.
Yeah.
I was living there. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never been to that area of Europe before. It's Germany and north of Germany up into Scandinavia is the only places I've ever visited. So I'm looking forward to getting over there and seeing. My wife keeps telling me we're going to get a Europe trip in here soon. It's going to be the main portion, like your France, Italy experience. And it's like, that's coming here in the near future. I can't wait to see it.
Sweet.
Yeah, I would for sure do Paris. All the wine and pastries you can have. If I go back, limited.
For sure.
All right. So then to wrap up, like I said, so then I was saying you kind of hung up the skates, so to speak, on the playing end, but now you're out in Canton and actually a team I played against back in 30 years ago. But first off, congratulations. How did that come about? And is that still community college hockey or is it something different now?
Nope, it's Division 3. So yeah, but no, I mean, I don't know. It's hard. I still really kind of think about like if I should have stopped playing, I just have so much love for the game, and being a coach is so much different. Like I really can't stress to you enough like how much I miss playing, and how much I think about that still. But I will also say I love it. I love coaching. I love the city, believe it or not. It's small. Like me and my mom joke about how like it's like another Hibbing, really, truly. It feels just like kind of Hibbing Chisholmy. But again, I like that now. So I love it. I love the guys. I love coaching. It's a lot different, but it's super rewarding. And the head coach here, Alex Boak, I cannot say enough good things about him. He has done everything for me, taken me under his wing, helped me so much financially, multiple different ways. Anything I need, he takes care of it. So he's been great. He's given me complete control over the forwards and the power play, which is probably pretty unheard of for a guy who's never coached before to have that much power. But I respect that. I love it. I don't want to lose it. Our power play scored the Tuesday night in the exhibition, so I must be doing something right. But no, I truly I love it a lot. It's been far from easy to hang up my skates just knowing that I could still play, and just that love I have for the game ultimately still. But that's why I'm coaching, right? And why I didn't go get a job in an office or whatever, because I'm still around the game. I can still make an impact on the game. I have so much knowledge and love for the game, still, and I want to be able to get it through somehow. And right now, for me, although maybe it's tough, this is the way that I should do it. And I have so much potential still to be like a coach, whereas playing, I kind of got to that top, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Coaching, I have so much of a ceiling. Who knows where I end up? And like I said, I love it. I love where I live. I love the rink. I love the city. I love the players, and ultimately, I love what I'm doing. And really in life, and not to be too deep, but that's kind of all you can ask for. So I'm just trying to take it a day at a time, recruit, get this team better, help them with what I know. And the team really is, I'm impressed. I never heard of it, to be honest. I'm sure you guys probably, well, you have, Roger, you said, but I don't think a lot of people from the Midwest West have even heard of the program. It's tucked up here, and it's out east is kind of a different ball game than Midwest. I never liked,
how many banners they have for community college national championship?
Crazy. Yeah, crazy.
Quick story here. This goes back to the days when, early 90s,
right,
mid 90s, in the national tournaments for the G.O.A.T national tournaments. I'm a junior in high school, and my junior year, we get bumped out in the playoffs, and my brother's playing for Itasca, and he's playing for Johnny Rothstein and the Itasca Vikings JUCO hockey team, and they qualify for the national tournament out in Lake Placid. And chance to see against Canton and playing in that tournament. And there is a long history of tradition with that program. And I guess I hadn't heard that it had gone, Division 3. I think that's pretty awesome that it's graduated to. I mean, you go ahead and look at the banners and see how far back with national championships and JUCO national tournaments, but it's pretty cool. But going back to what you were saying, when it comes to that's what's going to make you a good coach, coming from a guy that's been around the game for quite a few years and coached the game for quite a few years, that's what's going to make you a good coach, is the passion that you still have to play the game. And, sometimes it's a challenge to think, geez, I feel like I could still play. There's going to be so much more reward to you when it comes to, and you're right at the beginning of it, right? You're at the beginning of your coaching career where you probably already have in the beginning of this season started to feel these rewards coming in. That it's gonna be nonstop, and you're just gonna, if you haven't already, you're gonna fall in love with being a mentor to young people. I'm excited to see where you go with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, just like you said, I mean, when we scored on that power play, like it was a feeling like I've never had in my life, but it was amazing. Like it was different. But like you're kind of getting and feeling credit, but like in a different way, I guess. But I love it. Going back to what you said, I think they've only been Division 3 for somewhere between 10 and 12-ish years. And they never were a part of a conference. But next year we are joining the New York State Conference, SUNYAC it's called. So that's a huge step for our program, for recruiting and for playoffs, having the playoffs, conference tournaments, stuff like that. I really truly believe in the program and what Alex and I are trying to build. And I think it's just kind of in the ground stages now that we're going to be in the conference and stuff. So, give it time, and then those stubborn Minnesota people will have heard of it. I promise you.
Well, the good news when it comes to Division 3 hockey is there's always that stubborn Minnesota, stubborn Midwest, and there's always the clash of the East and the Midwest. I played at the University of Wisconsin Superior in the old NCHA and the WIAC and the Wisconsin League back in the day, and it was always, there was headbutts. So the stubborn piece, it was always like we're fighting against the East. Like the East is they've got their own thing out there, and it's cool. And it's pretty.
I never liked the East Coast, which is kind of funny. Like I never liked the East Coast. I did a couple college visits out here, and I hated it, to be quite frank with you. But for some weird reason, I love it up here, and we do like one kind of big trip a year so far, at least, like for the team. And this year it's Chicago, and I'm trying to get Alex Boak to do a Duluth trip. So we'd come in like a Thursday or whatever, and we'd play Scholastica Friday, Superior Saturday. I'm like begging them to do that. Like I think it'd be awesome. So we'll see. If we do, you guys better be there if we do.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I'm still in real close contact with Rich McKenna, who's the head coach at UW Superior, and
okay, all right,
chatting all the time. So if we get off the phone here and get an opportunity to connect and get connected with those guys even more, that'd be pretty cool. It's
very cool.
The best trips I remember making, and again, it was always a headbutt because it was East versus West. We made a trip my sophomore year out to Elmira and played, and that was tough. We played in the national tournament 2 times in my career. Both were out east. One was at Norwich, the other one was at RIT at Rochester Institute. But we played against Plattsburgh 2 years in a row. 1 year,
they're tough.
Yeah, and they're tough, and but it was always, you go out there, you're gonna line up with Elmira. There was a bench clear in 2000 in Superior when Elmira came. Everyone was worried because we were making the return trip out there that there was going to be issues, and it just turned into a game with no fights. But it was always East versus West, man, and it was a fun rivalry. And at the time, you hated it, but now you look, it's like I love the experience.
Appreciate it, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'd be giddy if we got to come to Duluth. I would be just giddy. I'd be so excited. So I'll try to push them a little bit. I know that stuff gets planned early, so maybe I can push them and we can get a hold of Rich and see what we can do. But yeah, that'd be so cool.
Awesome. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Well, we appreciate you spending some time. And like you said, a great career. And most of all, best wishes now that you're Coach Versich. And like I said, you guys are just getting going. So best wishes for a great season, and we'll catch up with you in the summer or maybe in the spring. We'll lace them up.
Christmas. I'll be here for Christmas. Yeah.
We'll just throw that kick out there too, that it's always, this is a podcast where we get a lot of Minnesota around the area that get it in the Twin Cities and the Duluth and Iron Range, but we always really like to plug the Iron Range connection. So there's a huge with the Versich name and the hitting some connection. So
good. I love it.
Out with you.
Yeah.
Good. I love it. Thank you guys so much for having me. All the best to you guys too.
All right. Thanks so much, man. Good luck.
Yep. Thank you. Take care.
See ya. All right, Cristiano Versus, thank you so much. Awesome. All right, for a few shout outs here before we wrap this thing up. The NCHC has named their preseason player of the year.
Well, I like this. I think I know exactly where this is going. I'm not looking at the screen you're looking at, but I'm looking at the social media that keeps rolling out, and I couldn't agree more of what the NCHA thinks is going to be the preseason player of the year. If they're going to throw a Grand Rapids alumni at the top of the kicker in the NCHA and St. Cloud State player, Mr. Jack Peart, sounds awesome, Pearty. I can't wait to see what you're going to do here with I believe it's his junior year.
Yeah, junior
And,
year, probably the last year. I mean,
well,
let's face it.
I'm not going to say what he's going to do afterwards, because nobody knows whether he's going to continue he's got a whole junior year to worry about that. But who knows? This is the product of a second round draft pick for the Minnesota Wild, and he's going to have a phenomenal year. He's going to be All-American. He's going to be all world in my mind.
And he'll be in a Wild jersey in
great
April.
hockey player.
He'll be in a Wild jersey in April.
Well, let's just say we hope we see that soon. And I just say this much: what a great hockey player and an even better human. So keep it up, Jack. We're proud of you.
Congratulations, Jack. And then Cloquet's Jamie Langenbrunner will be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame December 6th in Boston. So congratulations, guy from our era, of course, and captain to Team USA. What was that, in the 14 Olympics up in 2010 Olympics up in Vancouver. So local connection there.
Well, this goes back to the early years of watching as a little kid, and I'm sitting here watching Langenbrunner play in '92 at state tournament and all of the above, just having some pretty awesome experiences through Cloquet High School. And then everybody was bummed when he ended up leaving high school, but you see what happened to him after that, winning a couple Stanley Cups.
Absolutely. What a stud. All right, that's it for episode 67. Anything else?
Nope.
No? Okay. All right. Please comment. We appreciate your comments. Say hello to Cristiano. Please share. Of course, sharing is caring. Contact us if you'd like. Goatsportsmediallc at gmail.com. Hammer the follow button. Find Tea with Ms. McGill on Instagram, Spotify, the Musi app, Apple Podcasts, Twitter. It's just T McGill. And you can find us on YouTube and Facebook under Goat Sports Media LLC. Merch at the back, as always, $20 for a t-shirt. Just let us know. Email the email I just gave, goatsportsmediallc at gmail.com, or just you can get a hold of Reed or I. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal will take care of all that. And thank you, of course, as always, to the greatest partners on earth, the Rink Sports Bar and Grill, Iron Range Apparel and ODR Apparel, Fortune Bay Resort and Casino, Aspire Heating and Control, and Iron Range Goalie Academy. For Reed Larson, I am Puka. Get out there and be your dream. You're tuned to the Tea with Ms. McGill Show.